Well, hello. I come to you, it's very late at night, and we've just gotten back about a week and a half ago from a long road trip to Texas. Spent, uh, I think 15, 16 days out at a fair. And I wanted to kind of give you a rundown of from going back and forth from spending a long time in the RV to spending time here at the house. Some of the ups and downs of each one, because this is the part that nobody talks about. This is the thing that you don't hear anybody tell you. So I got about 20 different items here. I want to just kind of give you an idea of things I think of. First of all, space in an RV is extremely limited. Living in the RV when we did this for 18 months was very difficult simply because the uh, the sum total of your belongings is in the RV. Unless, of course, you have a home base somewhere like I have here now. Um, you literally, everything you have is in the RV or in a storage unit. And it is very difficult to live like that. Although, that brings me to point number two, which is a lot less stuff makes life a lot simpler. So there is a downside and an upside. The downside is you don't have all the stuff. The upside is if the stuff doesn't matter to you, having less stuff is kind of ideal because it forces it upon you. Um, Taking this number three, traveling. The traveling is just fantastic. If you don't like some place where you are, you can get up and leave, going to different locations, doing different things, boondocking on beaches that are free, spending time just practically anywhere you want. That part, the traveling was cool. The downside is travel days kind of suck. At first, they're kind of fun. You look forward to them, and still today, when it's been a long time, I look forward to them and I enjoy my travel days. But when you do it every day and it's constant, week after week, and you're moving every 3 or 4 days, and you're tearing down, you're setting up, and you're tearing down, setting up, travel days begin to kind of to stink then. So that puts you back in, to this house, and so that makes the score 2-2 right now. Um, the fifth item on the list is emptying the tanks on a regular basis because regardless if you park somewhere, you can't just leave all the tanks open, or at least you can't leave the black water tanks open without having causing problems with things piling up and congesting and stuff like that. You can leave some of the other tanks, but the problem is that then you have nothing to wash down the black water tank. So that one kind of really leans towards a house being much more convenient and it being a pain. I'm not sure if there are RVs that are made for that type of parking, but as far as I know, there aren't. They're tanked, which means everything sits in one location until it's time to flush it out. And if you let the liquids run out, the solids stay and they pile up and they dry out. So you have to wait until the tanks are 60 to 80% full, then let it out. Sixth item on the list is water quality. I did install a water system in the RV to give me at least um, what do they call that? Filtered, not filtered water, but that RO water that has like the 6-stage filtered stuff. And all it was is it stores a tank underneath the sink, and you have about 2 gallons of water there. That was superb. Filtering the rest of the water, I didn't really. Depending on where you are, there were times where you would stop in places and they had well water and it stunk and you could tell it was well water. And then there were places where you went that you had great city water. I think some of the best water we've seen was in South Texas, down in Beaumont area. Beautiful, nice city water compared to a lot of other places. So water quality really leans towards a house. You get good quality water because you can spend the money on a nice system. It's very difficult to spend money on a mobile system like that because you just don't have the water to waste to filter it out and that kind of stuff. Even the RO system is something that's like kind of a luxury, and you turn it on when you're parked, and you have water hookups because you may go through, 50 gallons of water to get your couple of gallons of water. Um, Seventh item, I don't know what the score is now. It's 3-2, no, 4-2. On the seventh item, the fence for the puppies. This one is a big one. I don't like having to put out the fence. Now, I will say the portable fence is a huge game changer when you're at a place for a couple of weeks. By bar none, it wins every single time. The problem is when you're traveling a lot, when you're moving around every 2 to 3 or 4 days, taking down the fence, putting it up, taking it down, putting it up for your dog for your puppy to go out in the morning, and you don't want to go out, you don't want to walk around and stuff. You just want to open the door. So I built a ramp and put the fence up if I'm going to be there for more than a day or two. But having a house that's really nice, you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about picking up other stuff or any of that kind of stuff. And so that one kind of goes to the house. Eighth item is going towards the RV is things are very easy to clean. It's very small, concerted effort every time you move, you park, you get in, you want to clean. It's, 20 or 30 minutes. You can go from top to bottom, every room, every dish, every towel, every, closet corner, crevice, whatever you want to call it. So that one definitely goes to the RV because it's small, it's easy to maintain and keep up. Worst case scenario is, an hour. The absolute worst. Number 9. Um, I don't like the way a lot of the parks are today, that they think that the only thing people are interested in is a place to stay, place to park. And my problem is there's no privacy or packed in like sardines. Please, if you're making an RV park, come up with some nicer units that have a little bit of space that you aren't climbing on each other. I don't know how much extra it would cost, but it just is just a killer to get into a place and you love the area, but you look out one window on one side and you got somebody 8 feet away, and the other side they're 8 feet away, and yeah, you've got this beautiful view and 1,000 people surrounding you. So that one's definitely having a little bit of privacy. Definitely goes to the house. Bad thing on the RV side. This one's an interesting one. The 10th item I put down: like camping but better, especially when you're off grid. RVing when you're off grid is the best. You can go to beaches down in South Texas where they're free, and you go off grid with a great solar system, and you've got water and the whole facilities and everything. You don't have to worry about sleeping outside in a tent, but you get all of the nature aspects of it. And especially if you're a hiker or a camper or something like that, it's just, that part of it is awesome. And I think that one counts as 2 points almost because it's just that much better. And I'm not really sure on this next one. I wrote number 11, $50 a day average. Which, you figure 30 days of a month, $50 a day, it's $1,500 a month. Rent, really, that's not that much considering that usually will include your electricity and your water. So I called it a wash. I really don't know if there's a point for this one and a point for that one, or no points for either. I guess it depends on what you're paying. Now, if you're paying both to have both, then obviously it's pretty expensive. Now, you can get away with a lot less than 50, but you can also pay a lot more than 50. I put $50 a day because it's good average to play with. I like a lot of the city parks, and I like a lot of the watery ones. So the water ones, like the lakes or the ocean views or stuff like that, are a little bit more expensive. And then the state parks and those type of things are more woodsy. You have a lot more privacy, and they're all a lot cheaper. I mean, down into the 20, 25 zone. So that one can go either way. Number 12, I wrote Starlink for the internet really made this one where it's almost a non-issue. That used to be a big issue. Traveling with cell phone only is your only option, and doing anything online is just a nightmare. Wireless service at parks that they claim, free wireless and stuff, it's like hotel free wireless. It's garbage. It hardly ever works for anything more than maybe surfing a little here or there to look up news or something. You might get your email, you might not, and you certainly can't work from it. So I had no luck with cell phone service unless you just wanted to spend an exorbitant amount on multiple data cards from multiple couriers and multiple courier pickup stations and stuff. And I looked at them all, and Starlink is the only one at this point I would represent. You pull up, you plug it in, you go. But now here's the it's great for internet, but is it good for TV? And this is where the house comes in. TV, a lot of the companies now are offering with their internet service, they're offering TV. Now, if Starlink does this and allows you to get the basic channels that you can get, um, the basic news channels, not the local news. I'm talking about national news channels, um, just your regular normal basic TV and that kind of stuff. I think that would get rid of the cable piece. The cable in a park is a lot like the internet. The only difference is no one ever uses the cable in a park, so they claim that they have it, and no one knows how to hook it up when you do get there. Or if you do, it's because you ran into a fluky place and never had any luck with that either. 14th item is for some reason they just cannot get lighting in an RV right. I get it. They're LEDs, they're low wattage, they're all that. But the lighting, you have this soft, beautiful lighting that you can put in your house, and you have squat for your RV. And you can't tell me that it is because they're LEDs. All the bulbs in here are LEDs, and we have the soft, beautiful lighting. So it's not that. I think it's the 12 volt LED, the 12 volt lighting versus the 120 volt lighting. Maybe there's something different there. And if someone knows, please leave me a comment. 15 is the air conditioners in RVs suck. I wrote it down here, and I'm not going to put cherry coat it. I can't stand them. They're loud. You can't think. You can't watch TV. You can't have even a conversation. That was one of the very first things I did was yank mine out and put in mini splits. With the mini splits, the only downside that I have is if I get into a situation where I can't get it level. Then I have a problem. Sometimes they won't drain right if it's more than a little off. 99% of the time, that's not an issue, and I don't have a problem with it. Occasionally, some places when you're, boondocking, you might have some time where you just can't quite get it level. But that one definitely, the air conditioners, if you have not replaced your mini splits, that goes way to the house. But if you have, like I have, then it's no longer an issue. 16, breaking down scares the crap out of me. Let's go over a couple of scenarios. If you have a Class A, your motor and your home are stuck on the side of the road. That worries me because it's not like, it's not like a fifth wheel where I can at least disconnect. I can go get help and so on and so forth. Yes, maybe if I've got a car behind it, but the problem is your house is still stuck on the highway. This is true with a fifth wheel also, and this is why it worries me so much. Anything goes wrong with an axle, with a wheel, any of this stuff. This is why maintenance is so important, but it's also very, very difficult to get that fear out of me. I don't like Class A's. First of all, they're very expensive. Beautiful, and I would love to have one. If I was rich, that's what I would have. But the breakdown piece of it really scares me because anything goes wrong with your motor or anything, your whole home is stuck wherever your home is stuck. At least If my truck breaks down, I can go rent a truck or I can hire someone to move my fifth wheel where it needs to be while I get it fixed. If my Class A gets broke, it goes to a repair shop, even if they get it off the highway, and I lose my house until I get it back. This is a huge problem, especially for anyone who's done this at any type of full time or even, majority of the time type thing. That's kind of a big concern of mine. Fortunately, I've never got stuck there. In Texas, I did have a slide out, go out, but I was capable of getting it fixed while I was there. I was able to climb underneath and figure out what happened and get it corrected. Thank goodness for the guy who runs the RV park having a nice workshop and fixing some bent metal for me. Um, all right, number 17. I'm not even sure what that says. I'll revisit it. Number 18. Cool people that you get to meet when you're traveling around like that is definitely an RV plus. There is just no replacing it. You run into a lot of really cool people, and you don't get to do that when you're here at home. You can't really, you can do it a little bit when you're a weekend warrior, and you can do it a little bit when you take a week here and there, but doing it constantly is really cool. You meet a lot of really good people, and that one's hard to do. And the one above this was close together. Um, for me and my wife, it was probably one of the biggest things is that you're living in such tight quarters that all the distance between you goes away. You hang out together, you do things together, you eat together, you get in a new routine and stuff. And traveling in the RV now is completely different than it ever was before we did it for 18 months. Doing it now, we go right back into our habits of when we were living there. And it's very, very nice. If you ever need some time away, it is the time away now. Now it becomes that. And that was one of the more pleasant surprises is that it was me, my wife, and our two puppies, and that was it. And that's kind of what was nice. For a lot of people, 19 is definitely towards the RV also. String of RV ones here. And that's is you can follow the weather. If you like a certain type of weather, you can travel around and always find that weather. If you like cool weather, you can always head north for the summer. If you like hot weather, you can always stay south in Arizona and Florida and do that. You can stay in the middle of the country and get, find something that really suits your liking. Um, and so that's something that is really cool and is really strong for the RV because you'll never find that on a house unless you have, three or four different houses to three different zones or so on and so forth. Last but not least is rest stops, having your bathroom and your kitchen there when you stop at a rest stop and just being able to roll it out, go in, go to your own bathroom, go into your own fridge, make yourself a sandwich, brew a pot of coffee. Um, Even just getting in and out fast, running in, going to the bathroom and getting back out, and having a refrigerator instead of an ice chest. That's just enormously convenient for traveling. Yes, travel days suck. Yes, it's a bigger problem when you got 15,000 pounds behind you in your fifth wheel. But overall, there are definitely pluses and minuses to both, and it depends on which ones bother you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 to 10. The house wins with 10, and 1 kind of in the middle. This is really a wash. It really is. And even Steven, there are goods and bads to both. It really depends on which one's the good. The good ones really outweigh the bad ones in my mind. I could live both ways. I would just have to adjust my life. I prefer to have both. I prefer to have a home base and I prefer to have a way to go travel and do it for sometimes 2, 3, 4 months of the year. That's probably what we'll continue to do. I hope if you're looking at traveling in your RV or looking to get one that this helps you out. I know I was very surprised how much I enjoyed it, and I know my wife was too, and how much we really enjoyed the traveling and being in the RV and living in there for a very long time. So hope this helps. If it does, please leave me a note in the comments, and I'll make sure I try to answer every one of them. I appreciate you. Have a good day.